is a presentation of OCA Media Sports.
OCA Media Sports is proud to present the 2018 Wisconsin State High School Rugby Championships. Today's Division I championship match has the perennial favorite, Chargers Rugby Football Club, against the Pulaski Roos.
OCA Media Sports would like to thank our generous sponsors for helping make this programming possible. Oregon and Waunakee Community Banks, your locally owned full-service bank, offering locally serviced, commercial, and residential loans. Feel good banking. Becker Law Office. At Becker Law Office, Social Security disability appeals are all we do. Call us today for a free consultation. Sunbelt Rentals. Have a large job or weekend project? Turn to Sunbelt Rentals for all your equipment needs. LaRue Construction. Your #1 choice for remodeling, additions, and new home construction. Do it right the first time. Choose LaRue Construction. Taking pride in what we do. Clover Products. Designing and manufacturing long-range microphones here in Wisconsin since 2012, with uses ranging from NFL sidelines to law enforcement to wedding videos. The Wisconsin Rugby Referee Society, promoting and growing the sport of rugby union football at all ages. Madison United Rugby, supporting and developing athletes for national and international amateur rugby competition. Madison United Rugby coordinates and supports its member rugby clubs.
You're watching OCA Media's coverage of the Wisconsin State Rugby Tournament. My name is Zach Seeloff, joined in the booth by Liz Entwistle. Liz, we had a great D3 game, and now we're on to D1.
Yes, earlier in the day we saw the West Side team based here in Madison defeat the Chargers' second side 17-12 in a fantastic game, back and forth, a really gritty match. We saw a lot of yellow cards, something we'll keep an eye on in this highly contested D1 matchup. We're going to see the Chargers' first team taking on Pulaski. The Chargers, a team that has been in the state championship many a time, Sheboygan-based team. They're a roster of 20, so they're not going to have quite as much depth as this Pulaski team with a full 23.
We didn't see a whole lot of substituting in the D3 game until we got towards the second half of the second half, and then we started seeing more and more folks come off the bench. What do you anticipate as a strategy for these teams, especially as you mentioned with a short bench?
So I think that both these teams are going to be looking to set the tone in the game. They're going to look to see who can make the first big tackle, who's going to have the first big carry. When we look at a lot of international rugby, we look at meters made. We look at line breaks, we look at carries. So which team can break defense? When we're coaching with elite level rugby as well, we're trying to identify weaknesses of each team on the field, and that's where we want to attack. I don't think either of the teams are very weak. They stormed through Badgerland Rugby. These teams actually tied each other in the regular season. 24-24 was the score. These teams putting up a large amount of tries and a large amount of bonus points with their point structure. So these are the teams that everyone expected to be in this Division I state championship matchup.
Well, and that would definitely be a difference from that D3 game, again, to go back to that 17-12, more of a defensive affair. We may be looking at more offense in this game here. All right, let's take a quick break, and we will be back. You're watching OCA Media's presentation of Wisconsin State Rugby.
At Oregon Community Bank, our purpose for over 38 years has been to serve our customers. Our goal is to help them improve their financial lives with innovative banking products and services, coupled with unparalleled customer service. Doing banking the right way, bringing our skills and expertise to improve the financial stability to individuals and businesses is how we have grown. We call this feel-good banking. So give us a call. Drop into one of our convenient branches or connect online at OregonCommunityBank.com. Feel good about banking again.
There's no cost for imagination, no charge for dreams, no limit to what we can accomplish together. It takes grit, determination, but mostly it takes you. They are your ideas, your visions. We're here to help. Early mornings, late nights, heavy loads. We are real people turning extraordinary dreams into reality. Sunbelt Rentals. Your ideas, our equipment.
Your Social Security disability benefits have been denied.
You're upset.
and maybe you're scared.
You need to appeal and get those monthly checks, but you've never done anything like this before.
It might be your first time, but not ours.
The Becker Law Office has helped over 10,000 people in Wisconsin appeal for disability benefits.
Disability law is all we do.
Call 1-800-254-7766, the Becker Law Office.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Wisconsin State Rugby Championship. Zach Seeloff and Liz Entwistle here as we are about to get underway.
I would expect to see as much. Both of these teams with quite a few players that play on the Wisconsin select side team, so a little bit of all-star rugby, quite a few of them moving on to play college rugby after this. We'll keep an eye on quite a few of these young men, some of them heading out to UW Stout, and of course a lot heading to UW Whitewater. That's a team that has actually recently won the USA Rugby Division II Men's 15s National Championship. They were in the finals for the 7s National Championship this spring. Their head coach, Matt Peterson, is here on the sidelines. The coach, Joe Lippert from Lindenwood Belleville, here as well. So quite a few college scouts keeping an eye on the action. Onto the field, though, it is Pulaski in purple kicking off to the Chargers in white.
And as we get underway, it is the Chargers that control initially, head back out to their 22-meter line and get us started here. 30 minutes per half in the state championship. We'll take a 5-minute break between halves as we continue to move. Good tackling early here from the Roos of Pulaski. They're wearing purple, as Liz mentioned, moving right to left. The Chargers in white moving left to right and just not able to get anywhere so far. And there's a takeaway here. Running forward for Pulaski is Mitch Levzia. Levzia all the way down to the 5-meter line. Tackled there, but the Roos continuing to push all the way out to the far side edge. Sidestepping a tackle is Dylan Hendricks. He's into the end zone, touches it down, and with just 49 seconds off the clock, the Roos are on the board first. It's a try. They're up 5-0.
So we talked about teams setting the tone early. That's exactly the kind of impact that you want to make in the opening minute of the game. Pulaski going hard, going forward, doing well to get the ball into the end goal, scoring in the opening minute. So again, mentioned these teams tied 24-24 in the regular season. This Pulaski team had a record of 11-0-1. They won the Midwest Tier 2 championship. They're coached by Fran Burnett. He's actually been their head coach for all 20 years. 16 out of those 20 years, they've made it into the state semifinals. So this is a team that is used to this sort of competition, that is used to this kind of pressure, and we'd expect to see them just elevating as the game goes on. This Chargers side, again, is a team that has been to the state championships many a time. We're looking at get over their roster, some familiar faces from last year's effort. They had a mighty, mighty matchup that went to extra time. They actually went to kicks as part of the overtime scenarios and the limits that we play with U19 rugby. Speaking of kicks, conversion missed.
Yep, misses down low and wide to the right, so the conversion no good, and we saw that come into play in the D3 game. 3 conversions missed by both of those teams, 2 for Westside, 1 for the Chargers, and so the score will go to 5-0. But impressive play in the first minute from the Roos. Great on defense. They get the turnover, and they quickly get the try, and the kickoff spins very badly back and behind the midfield line.
So that is an unforced error here by the Chargers team. The kickoff and the restart in rugby must go 10 meters. They did not go 10, so Pulaski has the option if they want to take a re-kick. They can take a scrum center. Scrum center is playing high percentage rugby, looking to minimize any sort of 50-50 balls, anything that can't go your way, so trying to maintain control. A little bit out of control, though, is this Pulaski team's hair. I don't know what's going on with the mullets. I don't know if that's a Wisconsin thing or a Green Bay thing in particular. But
we've got some serious flow on the Pulaski side, to use the hockey term. And oh my goodness, speaking of flow, the ball flowing away that time from Comrade Hillesheim. Getting caught up, but he's able to get back on top of it. Retains possession for the Roos as they work now from behind their 10-meter line.
A great job by this Chargers defense to put Pulaski so deep into their own territory. That's what you're looking for solid launching defense, putting the pressure on. Pressure again,
and
leading to the
turnover.
Big knock-on here. So Pulaski's number 6, Trevor Iller, can't quite hold on to the ball. Good pressure from Chargers. If they can keep up this defensive pressure, we're going to start seeing some opportunities for them to get some tries.
You can see just in the first few minutes here, the speed of both of these teams is enormous, and I think that's going to come into play as we get this scrum started up here. 3:30 gone in the first half, 5-0 the lead for the Roos after a try 49 seconds in. The ball rolls in and it's picked up, and the Chargers will work from the 10-meter line. Long pass, a nice leaping grab that time taken by Andrew Kane. Kane brought down. Got some hands up on the side. Now the Chargers moving forward once again. Down once more, and they'll quickly move it out. Right through the center of the field, crashing into the line is Zach Marhonic.
The Chargers have an opportunity here if they can get the ball out wide. We see some mismatches. In that first breakdown, a lot of Pulaski backs were pulled in, so we saw them having to get their forward players out wide. Now, generally, the forwards being a little bit stronger, a little more powerful, but not necessarily always known for their speed. We'll look to see how this goes as the game goes on, what sort of depth and recycling of the ball the Chargers are able to do. Right now, doing well to maintain possession of the ball in contact, good placement of the ball as well. So they're setting a solid platform with the rucks.
Chargers are into the red zone, but we've got a signal from the official. And that's going to be a turnover, and we'll take a tap and go. And look at Pulaski moving up the side with speed. The Roos just flying up, and it's Conrad Hillesheim taking that all the way down. A huge slam there as brought to the turf is Trevor Eiler. Continuing to push forward is Pulaski. Mitch Laziva carrying that one, and now they kick it out towards the middle of the field. Cutting back in, Max Lindsley, he's brought down to the turf, but the Roos will keep going with it. Wearing the headgear is J.J. Zemansky. Zemansky able to get that one back. The Roos control, but the Chargers defense set a little bit after the Roos picked up quite a bit. And now we're moving it along. We've got a signal for a high tackle here. We're playing advantage for the Roos as they keep it moving forward. Another pickup and a straight carry from Vanderloop. Caught up in the maul here as they're standing, and we're going to get into a maul situation. 5.5 minutes, and there is the whistle.
So you see advantage being played, and nothing good came from that maul. There was not any sort of go forward, or the ball was not able to get moved to the back of it, so called back for the penalty. It's Pulaski on the attack again. Pulaski is setting up with a lot of their forwards in the first receiver position when it comes to where they're going off of the rucks. Right now it is their fly half in the first receiver position, going out to the flanker.
Boy, and Pulaski had a great opportunity there. They were outside of the Chargers' defense, but the pass just not quite clean enough. They can't hold it. It's a knock-on call, and that will go to the Chargers.
So we'll see a scrum down to the Chargers. It'll be worth paying attention to how these teams are set up. So we already saw Pulaski with their forwards, where the backs typically are on defense, and we're seeing it now on their forward attack. It's a team that probably has a lot of good ball handlers and a lot of solid experience. We see several players on their roster with 4 years of experience, especially their captain here. While only a junior, Conrad Hillesheim has 4 years of experience with the team. There are some teams that in the past were allowed to play 8th graders in high school rugby. Since then, Wisconsin has introduced middle school rugby as well, so now they are solely able to play in middle school. And we have youth tag and flag rugby as well.
Also great to see so many different age groups getting access to this great sport. It's not yet supported by the WIAA, but I sure hope one day that we will get there. Right now, though, the club system doing a great job, and we've got 2 great clubs here, the Chargers and the Pulaski Roos, into another scrum. Chargers will throw it in.
So we can look at the setup now of the Chargers team. We're going to expect a kick. Their backs are set up flat across the field. Pulaski sees it, and Pulaski had their fullback and their strong side wing back to cover as well. This takes a favorable bounce. Chargers could have come away, but Pulaski gets the ball instead. Well covered by the Pulaski. Number 6, Trevor Eiler. I'm expecting to see him all over the field today.
Great job to grab that punt, and Pulaski moving quickly again. A nice stop by the Chargers as we get into the ruck and try and break it clear. Flip it all the way across to Levzia. Now he moves it into Casey Lambert, looking to get the corner. Nowhere to go, kind of turned around looking for a flip back.
The ball was passed forward, is going to be a scrum to the Chargers. So there's a couple trips to the red zone now that Pulaski has had, again, a couple unforced errors, giving the Chargers ability to have turnover ball.
As we get ready for the scrum, still 5-0 in favor of the Roos. About 8 minutes off the clock. And we are ready to go. Drop the ball in. Chargers look to pull it out of that scrum. They're able to, and that one getting loose and hustling after it is Conrad Hillesheim. Hillesheim still battling. That ball still on the ground as they fight right near the end line. Both teams engaged, trying to get it clear. It's the Chargers that come out and manage to break it free in the shadow of their own goal.
Chargers with advantage as well. So they're going to try to get the ball downfield. If nothing good can come of it, our referee, Alec Prokchniak, will call the ball back. But right now, it is the Chargers in control, setting some solid platforms. We hear penalty advantage being called.
And as the Chargers just continue to fight here, dragging that one forward. And there is the whistle.
So this is going to bring it back to the penalty to the Chargers side. Again, the wind blowing from left to right across the field. We'd look to see if they've got a kicker that can reach it to touch. Of course, they have to make sure that they get the ball out of bounds. They don't want to give Pulaski any balls to run and counter with. Pulaski setting up their defense just in case of that event. So we see their outside center, their flanker, and their weak side wing all along the sideline here. So Andrew Kane, Casey Lambert, Preston Ulp. Ball crosses just across the 22-meter mark.
Kick it into touch, and we'll do a line out. Nice to have two teams with very contrasting jerseys in this game. We had two gray uniformed teams in the D3 match. Nice to have white and purple here. Very easy to tell apart.
As a Northwestern alumna, I approve of these colors.
There you go. Wildcats all the way.
Though to keep an eye on too is that some of these Pulaski jerseys aren't with their traditional numbers. So all game long we've seen Conrad Hillesheim in the number 10 jersey actually lining up in the scrum half position. Their number 9, Ian Vanderloop, wearing 9, the typical scrum half number, has been lining up at fly half. So it's almost 7 style play where they've got different first receivers, different capabilities with the ball, something that they're going to be able to keep flowing and attacking moving forward. But right now it is the Chargers that are in control of the ball, trying to get their meters inch by inch.
A nice move by the Chargers there. Try the inside move. Not able to get a ton of yardage, and that is a penalty in favor of the Roos. They will take over. 10 minutes and 17 seconds showing on the clock. The Roos up 5-0.
So Pulaski is going to take the penalty opportunity to kick 4 posts. This would be an extra 3 points added to their tally if it is converted. If it is missed and the ball is still in the field of play, it is open play. So it's not quite a dead ball. So you're going to see these players from the Chargers team in the end goal. They're able to field the ball. They only have to be 10 meters back. Typically as a coach, I would have 2 players standing in front of the post in case it bounced off the post. That way they can catch the ball coming down. But they've got everybody back inside of the end goal area behind the try line. And now we finally see a couple of the Chargers realizing they don't have to be back quite so far.
And this was something we saw in the D3 game, the Chargers electing not to take these penalties twice, and they ended up losing by 5. We'll see if it works out for Pulaski here. The kick is up, and it is no good. Wide to the left, and taken by the Chargers.
So now with that ball being brought into the end goal by the Pulaski team, since they kicked it in, it is going to be a Chargers 22-meter dropout. They could have opted for a scrum for where the kick was taken. The 22-meter drop kick has to be a drop kick taken anywhere behind the 22-meter line. It barely crosses the line, which is something it's required to do. And now it is Pulaski ball just at the 22.
Again, another kick badly shanked, just like the kickoff. Does not get a lot of distance and twists hard to the left. Pulaski the beneficiary as they drive across the 22-meter line, pumping hard as Carson Birch. And Birch brings it up, and they'll keep flicking it along, this time to Conrad Hillesheim. Hillesheim feeds that one into Casey Lambert. Lambert across to the left wing. Ulp hit, trying to get there. He touches it down.
And we're
no signal.
A little bit of a conference here between our assistant referee and head referee, Alex Krukniak.
And it is a try.
Aborted.
It is a try, number 14. The left wing, Preston Ulp, the senior, getting the score. 10-0 Pulaski, pending the conversion attempt.
So again, a little bit of a questionable call there to take that 22-meter drop kick, and with such urgency, you have time. A drop kick only needs to be taken, or 22-meter dropout, anywhere behind the 22. You can take it from the goal line if you want to. It can be anywhere left or right across the field. They don't need to kick into traffic. They don't need to kick it with such a big sense of urgency. You'll see teams in defense generally put their 2 tallest players in front of the kicker trying to block it, and you very rarely see kickers back up to have more space. So little things that make the difference, especially in state championship play. What it does is it gives the ball to Pulaski. So I'm going to count that as a turnover because it kicked away possession, and now it's another Pulaski try.
Pulaski getting set up here for the conversion attempt. It will be taken by Dylan Hendricks. He had the first try of the game for the Roos, and he will take the conversion kick here. Hendricks with the forward-facing ball, sweeps it up, and unfortunately gets a little bit on top of it, pushes it hard to the left. The conversion is no good, so twice Pulaski has missed out, and they lead 10-0 here with 13:07 on the clock. We play 30-minute halves in boys rugby here in the D1 State Championship at the Cottage Grove, Wisconsin Rugby Complex.
So another opportunity here for the Chargers. Their number 9, Levi Post, to redeem himself. We'll see if he can get a kick that goes 10 meters downfield. This time it most certainly does.
And that one grabbed nicely by Pulaski. Working on his backside was Casey Lambert, now trying to dig forward here. Pushed all the way down and pops down. As Pulaski will continue to move it from behind their 10-meter line. Here's a quick drive and a blast from Szymanski. J.J. Szymanski, the sophomore, doing some work there as they move it up with speed. Hitting the hole is Andrew Kane. Kane driven down as he pushes the ball back. Pulaski still trying to get some forward yardage. Now they've got a pit on the edge, and here they go. Kick it out to Olp. He's not able to get there in time. A swing from the left wing of the Chargers is no good.
So there's a forward pass by Pulaski. Nothing good going to come of it from the Chargers, so they will take it back for the scrum. In the first game, we mentioned that the Chargers' second side was very flat-footed when they were attacking on offense. I'm going to call it the same thing here with the Chargers' defense. They're in perfect alignment, but they are not taking any forward steps, and they're letting Pulaski run to them. And these Pulaski runners are coming up hard. If they are going to make their tackles and try to get a negative tackle behind the gain line, they're going to have to come forward. They're going to have to launch.
Pulaski has got a lot of speed, and they are using it, but now it's the Chargers benefiting from that scrum. A nice inside move, and here come the Chargers across the 10-meter line into Pulaski territory. Again with the inside toss, that doesn't work. They'll see a little more traditional move to the outside. Chargers trying to get ahead, but Pulaski swallowing them up. Now working to the near side again as the Chargers come across. Works his way through two different men, met by a third and brought down. That ball nearly turned over, but able to hold it are the Chargers. Thought about a little trickery there from the scrum back, but nothing doing. Into them all, looking to rip that ball free, and they do, and here come the Roos the other direction. Ball knocked free once more. Turnovers both ways. Zach Morahonic drives on it for the Roos as we get another whistle.
So to see the scrum to the Chargers team, would have loved to have seen a little bit more action in the maul. So a maul similar to a ruck, you have to come from behind the last foot. You have to come from behind. There's not an official gate in a maul, but you have to come from behind. You can't just glom on from the side. You want to keep it moving if you can. You'll see some teams that actually will intentionally set a maul with a squeeze, and if they're going to have a higher tackle, not a high tackle illegal, but a higher tackle to set a maul, because that can create turnovers if it doesn't move forward. In that scenario, well, now the Chargers are on the run.
Chargers stumbling ahead, a big push there, but they hang on. Scrum back tackled down though as that ball gets loose once more. Driving forward as both teams fighting for it, hands are on it. Neither team with clear possession.
It looked like the Pulaski number 12 had his hands most on it, and now it's Pulaski in the counter attack. This is a great time to get downfield because neither team was set for an offensive or for a defensive setup.
Preston Olp with another great run. He had the second try, the left winger getting his team a little bit of space. Szymanski now carrying.
Pulaski has so many numbers out to the right side of the field. They unfortunately have a penalty called against them, but had they been able to get the ball out, they had 10 gentlemen out to the far side. The Chargers were not set up in any way to cover that. Pulaski needs to avoid those errors. So now we've seen a couple of unforced errors, a couple of missed kicks and things too, that could end up being a difference if this game gets tight later in the game.
That was like the old student body right play, had everybody out to the right side of the field, but it's the Chargers that do come up with the ball. They'll look to ruck it back here. Ball is loose, and that one's going to be grabbed by the Roos. They fall on top.
The ball knocked forward. The Pulaski player did not have control by the time he got that ball to the ground. So we're going to see another scrum to the Chargers. Would like to see the Chargers actually get a solid attacking platform. They've been under pressure every time that they've had the ball in hand on offense. I know this is a team that has the speed and that has the capability of breaking open games all season long. This is a team that went undefeated. Again, their lone tie coming against the Chargers side. They just need to find some try-scoring form and have some space to run. So far, Pulaski's been just smothering them in defense and covering every inch of the field.
Chargers work it back. That ball finally does squirt loose. Tackled down, and the turnover goes to Pulaski, and here comes Pulaski again. Out to Preston Olp on that left wing. Olp with the corner. He's got one man to beat. Brought from behind, a great pass, but swallowed up is number 15, Logan Lom. The senior brought down, and it's taken away by Dylan Hendricks. Hendricks had the first try of the game. He advances it near the 5-meter line. Continuing to push forward are the Roos. It's Lesvia. And now they kick it back and move it over Max Lindsley. Lindsley losing the ball, gets back on top.
And the ball knocked forward with that errant pass. It's going to be another Charger scrum. So Pulaski's ball handling, doing them in a bit. I love that offload from the ground, though. When you are tackled, you have about the length of the word immediately to do something with the ball. Usually you place it for a ruck, but you can release, get back to your feet, and go again. You can make a pass from the ground, too. It's a really dynamic way to keep the ball attacking, moving forward. So Pulaski not quite able to finish on their final sequence of play. Scrum to the Chargers, but I expect a lot of pressure from Pulaski here on defense.
We saw West take advantage of the release pickup play a number of times late in the game. And we'll see if Pulaski continues to use that in deep here in the red zone. We're going to reset the scrum.
So again, when we look across the field, this Chargers offense is set up flat across the try line. You have to be 5 meters back from the last foot of the scrum. We're looking to see, or expecting to see, a kicker. You have to come from behind the kicker to remain offsides when a kick happens downfield. But right now it's a turnover. Pulaski has the ball.
And they win that scrum, kick it across, and moving ahead once more is Dylan Hendricks. Hendricks taking his way all the way to the goal line, puts it down.
Another try
and
for
it's
Pulaski.
a try.
This is their 3rd try of the game. When they were in regular season action, this was a Pulaski team that scored 27 tries across 5 games. So they're on about 5.5 tries per game as their regular clip. It's going to be Pulaski going up 15-0 pending the conversion kick. If you're the Chargers team, this is a time for their captains to step up. They're experiencing your players. Say, you know what, we've been here before. They just need to settle. They need to play their game. They just need one good break downfield, something to get like the right amount of hype. Looking at the mental strength that it comes into playing this game, we still have 40 minutes left to go in this Division I state championship, 10 minutes left in this first half.
The junior Dylan Hendricks, 2 tries already. He has not been able to convert. He's kicked both of them, he's kicked all 3 with this one pending, has missed both of his previous attempts.
And we also had a missed penalty attempt at goal as well.
Indeed.
So kickers 0-4 in this game so far, looking to break that trend. Again, these extra 2 points really making a difference. Of course, if Pulaski stays on this scoring clip and stays in the Chargers half of the field, these extra conversions aren't going to matter as much.
Hendricks steps up. This looks like a nice boot, and that one is good. Hendricks converts, and that will give his team the 17-0 lead over the Chargers with 9.5 minutes to play in the first half of this boys D1 state championship game. Dylan Hendricks, the junior, doing damage for his team. He is responsible for 12 of their 17 points individually.
He's another player with 4 years of experience on this Pulaski team, while just a junior. Again, some of these players with 8th grade experience. When we look down this Pulaski roster as well, at least 9 of their starting 15 players are playing with the Wisconsin Select side or have played with the Wisconsin Select side in the past. This is a team that will challenge itself by going to California. No
Shooting
challenge
through
here,
is
though.
Conrad Hillesheim. Boy, he just squirts through a gap and flies down the field. And we've got a high tackle signaled, and we're going to take the tap and touch. It's Hillesheim once again. Kicks across to Hendricks. Hendricks brought down inside of the 22-meter line, and just like that, the Roos are back in the red zone. Ian Vanderloop nearly to the goal line. He's inside the 5, and that ruck gets lost. It might be grabbed by the Chargers. Kind of confused. It's still loose, and it's going to be taken and immediately driven back are the Pulaski Roos, but they retain possession, looking to go left here. Hillesheim hits a fake. He's to the end line. It's a try, and the Roos score again at 21-50. This time being number 10, Conrad Hillesheim.
A little bit of a feint with the shoulder there. He had 5 of his own teammates to the left side of the field to the outside. Chargers with only about 3 guys in defense. They have to choose who are they going to cover. A lot of times in rugby, just like the Shakira song, your hips don't lie. So while you feint with the shoulder or you fake a pass, you watch to see where the hips are turned. As a defender, if your hips are turned to the right, to the left, there's often space behind as well. So he's able to sneak it back to the inside. Another try for this Pulaski team. They are up 22-0 pending the conversion. This is pretty much a textbook opening half when it comes to a state championship game or any game of rugby for that matter.
Pulaski can be nothing but thrilled. The Chargers really need to try and just close things out here, I think, in the first half, regroup at halftime and try and figure out this very difficult Pulaski offense. Hendricks with the conversion attempt takes a short run up, boots it through, and that one is good as well. He's 2 for 4 now on conversion attempts. The score 24-0. Pulaski over the Chargers in the D1 state championship game.
So Pulaski, I would expect them to continue pushing this pace. They are just all gas, no brakes, all go forward. They have been in the Chargers half for nearly the entire game. When we look at percentages of possession, when we look at percentages of field possession and where they are downfield, this is about the only time they've been in their own half of the field. It's a good take and a solid carry by the Pulaski hooker, JJ Szymanski, the sophomore on their team, one of 4 sophomores in this 23-man roster for the Pulaski side.
Great little give and go for Pulaski there to pick up a little bit more territory. Continuing to work forward, digging for it is senior Max Lindsley. Lindsley brought down. As they continue to try and advance, the Chargers have not been bad on defense generally, but they've let a couple of these big plays slip by, and the speed of Pulaski has been the difference on those.
There's a couple little things, though, like looking at the body language of this Chargers team. They're set up in defense. Guys have hands on hips, hands on knees. They're not in a solid go-forward position. When we look at defense setting up, you're going to have either your left foot forward or your right foot forward, depending where on the field you are, where you want your first step to be. And you want that first step to go forward. They are still letting Pulaski come to them, and Pulaski is gaining meters with almost every single carry. Eventually, that's going to lead you down to the goal line.
Vanderloop over to Hendricks, and now Hendricks with some space looks for a toss and instead just keeps going. Hendricks has one man to beat as he takes a corner angle. Going to be drawn down from behind right at the 5-meter line. But again, Conrad Hendricks setting his team up with a huge gain. Vanderloop elects to just grab it. He dives inside of the 5. That ball loose, but it's still held by Pulaski all the way to the goal line, pushing to the end. And we've got a hold up.
Yes. The try held up. This is going to yield a 5-meter scrum to Pulaski. Good attacking going forward. They have the numbers to the outside. I would like to see them just for purposes of good rugby. I know they've got the physicality to do it, to dive over the line, but they've got the numbers outside. An easy pass would do it. You're looking for the easier tries to get downfield. Credit to the Chargers, number 18, Bailey Feltner, coming over with a solid cover tackle from behind. He prevented the early try under the post. A solid effort there. We're going to look to see what Pulaski does here. If you are playing the number 8 position at the back of this scrum, this is your bread and butter. You're looking to see if you can get that pickup and go rather than having the scrum half take the ball in. That's something I lived for when I was in college myself.
And this one kicked away by Vanderloop, picks it up himself. What a flip to Hendricks. Hendricks, one man to beat. He's into the goal, and it's another try. The third for Dylan Hendricks, a hat trick in the first half with 25:35 on the clock.
So while it does sound like we are booing, this is a case of the crowd all cheering for their ruse instead. They're all saying Boo Earns.
I was saying Boo Earns.
Pulaski going up 29-0. We still have 4 minutes left to go in this opening half of play.
Conrad Hendricks is just Dylan Hendricks mixed him up with Conrad Hillesheim. A monster out there. He's 2 for 4 on conversion attempts. Trying to give his team a 31-0 lead here with this latest one. It has gotten windy here, folks. I do apologize if that's getting into our mics a little bit. It's got to be playing havoc with these kickers because the wind is whipping up here in the booth and certainly down there on the field.
It's interesting when we look again at higher level rugby, talk about the 1%ers, one of the little things that can make the difference. So when we have elite players and we're coding their film and we're looking at the little things they're making or breaking a tackle, making or breaking the difference between a try. Things like this, like the kicking ability and testing yourself in different conditions, does make a huge difference. We talked about it before, the importance of the restarts. Teams can get the ball. Once it goes 10 meters, you can recover your own kick. It's such a key part of the game when you're looking to create turnovers, maintain possession, little things, making sure you get your conversion kicks, that you're testing yourself in rain, in wind, and all kinds of adverse conditions, having different cleats for different field conditions with mud and grass. It's all the little stuff that makes the difference. And then we get into strength and conditioning and diet and nutrition and everything like that too.
The conversion attempt from Pulaski is good. They lead 31-0 with inside of 3 minutes to play in this first half. It has been all ruse against the Chargers here in the D1 State Boys Championship. Another nice flip inside to Dylan Hendricks. He's got it. And that's going to be...
Well, it's a penalty to Pulaski. You see them kind of looking to touch. They've got the wind coming across the field in this direction. It's not a bad call. They can afford to just manage the clock now. Sitting comfortably with a 31-0 lead. We have about 2 minutes to go before the half.
I did not realize, because I've watched more professional rugby, how in play the stands are when it comes to those kicks into touch. We've had quite a few souvenirs for the fans. Obviously can't keep them. But we will get the line out here with just about 2 minutes to play in the first half. Pulaski up 31-0.
So it's Pulaski's line out. They have to set their line. This in and out stuff doesn't do. Are they going to go full, or are they going to have less players? They're opting to drop a couple of their forwards into the back line, so they're going with a short 4-man line out, 5 once they insert a jumper. When they do that, they need to then reclaim a receiver towards the back. So a little bit of some cheeky movement there and movement to the outside of the field. They're on the attack. We see such a nice setup with their diagonal shapes that they're going. Again, they've got the opportunity now with this diagonal setup to come back to the left. Unfortunately, the sideline says no. So it's going to be an opportunity for Chargers with the line out of their own.
Another solid run, though, from Pulaski, moving up the field, gaining ground. About 90 seconds left to play here. We'll get a line out to the Chargers. And I'm sure here the Chargers not even thinking about scoring, just thinking, can we get into the half here and keep Pulaski from scoring? So far, they have not had an answer for the offense of the Roos.
So Chargers running a very similar style line out. They insert their jumper from the typical scrum half position. That means that their scrum half was standing at the back of the line out. He drops back to become the receiver. But now, Pulaski ball. We see it knocked forward, so advantage being played. Chargers have recovered the ball again, so that's a lot of times possession is the advantage.
Possession for sure. The Chargers do grab it. They're taken down, and they'll continue to push ahead. Pick it up and continue to advance, looking to get past that 10-meter line, driving, charging, but driven back by Pulaski, not allowing them to gain. 29-22 on the clock as they barrel into the Pulaski line again and again. Pulaski does not allow them to pick up positive yardage.
Look at this. Pulaski's defense took away 8 meters of space with this tackle, a solid tackle from Hendricks wearing the number 12 jersey. He's an impressive player.
As the Chargers move it across here, they're into their own red zone, and Pulaski is just driving them back and back and back. 15 seconds on the clock to play in this half. We will play until the ball goes dead once we cross the 30-minute line.
Look at you with that rugby vocabulary. Well done, Zach.
And here we go. Speaking of a breakaway, Andrew Kane tipped down from behind. Nearly had it free. They turn it over to the Chargers. Chargers dragged down there near the touch line. Both teams battling, and now the Chargers just wanting to put this one into the pocket at the end of the first half. Going to the ground, and a big pass out to the middle of the field. Still driving, dragged down once more as we battle here. We are across the 30-minute line. We will end the half as soon as the ball goes dead. The Chargers still working with it. Out of the ruck, though. It's picked up, and we've got another Roos chance all the way to the outside. It's Preston Olp to the goal line, and it's a try to end the first half. Pulaski with a huge grab of the turnover. They convert it into a try, and we will go into the half with them having a 36 or 38-point lead.
It's fantastic effort. Again, Pulaski's defense, launching forward. They took away the Chargers' space. They took away the Chargers' ability to even carry the ball cleanly. By putting in that sort of pressure, they took away over 30 meters worth of Chargers' space. They get ball to the outside. And again, this Pulaski team, with players that are capable of playing anywhere on the field, it's very much a 7 style. So they're having some of their forwards inserted into the back line. We see people setting up in a first, second, third receiver position rather than traditional fly half, always being the number 10 being first, then having the inside center at 12 always being the second. By having that, they're so quick in transition. We saw that ball going out to their second row, all able to pin his ears back and get down to the sideline, get to the goal line. All he saw was green light ahead, green space, green grass, and now they're looking pretty money as they go up 36-0. This is going to end the first half as soon as the Hendricks conversion attempt is taken.
Preston Olp with his second try of the day, so speedy on that left wing, able to use it there. Dylan Hendricks not able to get
that one was going to be missed. The way that he turned his back, he was going to overswing and overcompensate. That ball was going to be hooked no matter what. So an unfortunate misconversion to end the half, but 36-0. If we're criticizing conversion attempts, that's pretty much the only thing that we can criticize. There were maybe 2 to 3 knocked on balls with some of the ball handling from the Pulaski team, but they really just need to keep doing what they're doing.
Can't be unhappy when you're up 36-0. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the second half of this game. You're listening to OCA Media's coverage of the Wisconsin State Rugby Championships.
At Oregon Community Bank, our purpose for over 38 years has been to serve our customers. Our goal is to help them improve their financial lives with innovative banking products and services, coupled with unparalleled customer service. Doing banking the right way, bringing our skills and expertise to improve the financial stability to individuals and businesses is how we have grown. We call this feel-good banking. So give us a call. Drop into one of our convenient branches or connect online at OregonCommunityBank.com. Feel good about banking again.
There's no cost for imagination, no charge for dreams, no limit to what we can accomplish together. It takes grit, determination, but mostly it takes you. They are your ideas, your visions. We're here to help. Early mornings, late nights, heavy loads. We are real people turning extraordinary dreams into reality. Sunbelt Rentals. Your ideas, our equipment.
Your Social Security disability benefits have been denied.
You're upset, and maybe you're scared.
You need to appeal and get those monthly checks, but you've never done anything like this before.
It might be your first time, but not ours.
The Becker Law Office has helped over 10,000 people in Wisconsin appeal for disability benefits.
Disability law is all we do.
Call 1-800-254-7766. The Becker Law Office.
Welcome back, everyone, to the WIAA Wisconsin State Rugby Championships, the Division I game taking place between Pulaski and the Chargers. After one half, it's Pulaski 36, Chargers 0. I'm Zach Seeloff alongside Liz Entwistle. And Liz, it was just all ruse in that half.
It was. The ruse were a force on both offense and defense. Every time they could get their hands on the ball, they were able to get tries scored. 36-0 is quite a pace to have set. They've missed a few conversion kicks, but this means they've scored 6 tries. Math is off a little bit today. It's been a long day of rugby. But what we saw that was really the tale of Pulaski's success was their quick transitions. They were taking away so much space on defense with launching going forward that when they had turnover ball, they were able just to keep going, keep on the attack, relentless go forward. I think that speaks a lot to the skill of this team and the coaching. Fran Burnett and his entire staff able to get these boys capable of being ball handlers no matter what number they have on their back. We see a lot of rugby where the lower numbers 1 through 8 are generally the power strong guys. I mean, some people will say they're kind of like the rhinos on the field. There are teams that will just have them be the ones that go forward here and there and pick and go. But we have seen so many of these forward players inserted into the back line. That means that they are a threat anytime they've got the ball. It doesn't have to just be this happens in X scenario, this happens Y. I personally love seeing up-tempo teams that are capable and that can just go, go, go.
You definitely can't argue with the play of Pulaski in terms of, we mentioned they had a little trouble with ball handling here and there, but they're taking chances with the ball so many times that I think it's a percentage play kind of thing, and what we saw so many of those chances pay off.
It's so true, and I was actually talking a little while ago with Ross Cho. She's a coach at Life University with their women's D1 elite team. They were the Sevens national champions back in 2016, CRC champions, and she's always said that their team is always going to have more knock-ons. They're going to have more penalties because they try more than other teams. So I think that's something that's true of this Pulaski side as well. I
absolutely agree. As we get underway here, Pulaski with the ball. Chargers trying to strip it away. We get the whistle here, and that's going to be against the Chargers. We will go back to the Pulaski side. Pulaski electing to take the quick one, and they move right across the 10-meter line, taken up by Vanderloop, and moved over to who else but Dylan Hendricks. Hendricks, a nice drop pass, and Pulaski still moving. Now brought down, trying to make their way to midfield.
So a couple substitutions coming onto the field for this Pulaski team. We see a player wearing the number 24 jersey, Liam Fahey, stepping on, and we'll keep you abreast as to the other substitutions as we get some jersey confirmations.
Another whistle, and again going against the Chargers. And we have seen Pulaski really take advantage of some of these penalties here, and here they do it again across midfield all the way to the 10-meter line on the Chargers side. Working it across once more. Nice pickup by Fahey, the new sub who's inserted, pushing hard, driving. Look at Fahey just keeping those legs moving. Finally brought down, and Vanderloop will take it up. A solid fake from Vanderloop, but the Chargers not fooled. They force him to the ground and then quickly drag the next Pulaski ball carrier right to the turf. Vanderloop giving that one inside to Carson Birch. Birch brought down, and we're battling here between the midfield and 10-meter lines, and now we get another whistle.
So we're going to have a minute on the field as we just do a player evaluation. That was a crushing tackle from this Chargers defense. Something I would like to see them do in those situations where they're able to have a player go low is have a second player come in and come high. So if a player's going to get down at that, quad hamstring kind of level with their first initial hit, you want to have another player come in high here and tie up the ball. See if you can get a turnover and get a strip, or if you can just tie it up, and then if you're able to get one of those not playable situations, you can still get the turnover that way. If you're the Pulaski team, you're looking to just make sure that you keep finding space, getting to the outside, and of course, one of their biggest successes going through the hands of number 12, Dylan Hendricks, the junior player, has been quite a standout getting downfield, but that's credit to his teammates too. They're doing the little things that open up the spaces for him to be able to run in. Of course, that stiff arm is all his own.
The player on the ground is number 4, Max Lindsley, a senior for Pulaski. As they continue to evaluate him, we're going to step away, take a quick break, and be back. You're watching the WIAA State D1 Championships here on OCA Media.
OCA Media Sports would like to thank our generous sponsors for helping make this programming possible. Oregon and Waunakee Community Banks, your locally owned full-service bank, offering locally serviced, commercial, and residential loans. Feel good banking. Becker Law Office, At Becker Law Office, Social Security disability appeals are all we do. Call us today for a free consultation. Sunbelt Rentals. Have a large job or weekend project? Turn to Sunbelt Rentals for all your equipment needs. LaRue Construction. Your #1 choice for remodeling, additions, and new home construction. Do it right the first time. Choose LaRue Construction. Taking pride in what we do. Clover Products. Designing and manufacturing long-range microphones here in Wisconsin since 2012, with uses ranging from NFL sidelines to law enforcement to wedding videos. The Wisconsin Rugby Referee Society, promoting and growing the sport of rugby union football at all ages. Madison United Rugby, supporting and developing athletes for national and international amateur rugby competition. Madison United Rugby coordinates and supports its member rugby clubs.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Last try for this Pulaski team.
Bouncing ball, it's picked up by Hendricks. He's able to retain possession for Pulaski, putting his back into it as he drives, and we get a bit of them all going, and individually he just forces his way across the 10-meter line, and that ball will stick with the Roos. Crashing in is Fahey. He is like a tidal wave across that 10-meter line, driving it forward, and Pulaski continues to move along. Nice one-handed behind-the-pack grab to retain possession of that ball, and that's what we talk about. Some difficult passes that they're giving to each other. They're not always going to work, as we saw there, but they're really doing a job to corral some of them and get some positive meters out of them.
So this is the Chargers taking a little bit of a page from the Pulaski playbook. They are finally starting to launch in defense, and they are creating some problems for this Pulaski team when it comes to their ball handling. Now we have a penalty to the Chargers as well. So by committing people to the tackles and getting low, and we saw a buddy tackle there earlier that stopped Fahey from that go forward. Now it's going to be the Chargers with the ball in hand. And the Chargers with a breakdown field. This is the Chargers' first action. They're their first visit into the Pulaski side of the field. A great break by the Chargers inside center wearing the number 12 jersey.
What a solid tackle by Logan Lom to a Pulaski to keep him going, but the Chargers with their first solid offensive push here, working their way to the red zone. Move it to the inside and try and now keep it going forward. We'll see. This is where the Chargers have struggled when they've had possession. They've had trouble getting positive yardage. Continuing to drive toward that 22-meter line. Here's a nice opening, and right into the teeth of the Pulaski defense, lifted up and driven down. The ball comes free, and it's the Roos that take over. Zach Moronic picking up the loose ball, and the Roos just going to elect to kick that one away.
There's a good choice by the Roos. Fly half to kick the ball downfield. Chargers a little bit out of position, so there's an opportunity for some open space. Good pressure by this Pulaski team. And now they get the tackle to touch. It'll be a Pulaski line out. Love that action by the Chargers to get downfield. Again, it was that number 12, Xavier Ellis, with the break. We saw Dylan Hoffman in the number 10 jersey getting involved as well. But the Chargers need to go with support. And if you're a Chargers player, you cannot run into 6 Pulaski defenders. We always teach players that you should be running at branches, not at trees.
And trees they were, especially 24, Liam Fahey, the new sub who's in for Pulaski, anchoring that defensive wall. It's going to be awfully tough to run through him.
Also coming on for Pulaski is number 21, Max Steinbrecher, a freshman on their team, so getting some valuable state experience here.
Great to have that high-level competition under your belt. As the throw-in comes, the Chargers not able to grab it, and that's actually going to be a knock-on.
And see, with running with the short line out, we saw both teams set up just a 4-man line out, so they've got their pod at the front, and you have a safety man at the back. There are some teams that will involve multiple lifter jumpers, and you'll see movement. The USA women's team will do that, where they walk people in, and there's a yes or a no call. They have people that can turn and flip and lift in different directions. You're playing, again, kind of safer high percentage rugby. When you come to a state championship, you're playing to win. You're also playing not to lose.
For sure. And speaking of that, it is 36-0 in favor of Pulaski with just about 5 minutes gone in this second half. As they grab it and get a run, it's Hendricks all the way out, and it's taken by Olp. Preston Olp with 2 tries today, and look as he turns the Jets on and just accelerates by. He's all the way into the red zone. Preston Olp doing it again for the Pulaski Roos.
is a gorgeous pass that set Preston free. They're passing to where the players are going to be. They're not passing back behind them to where the players were. So this is allowing them to run forward. They are running onto the ball. This is textbook sevens style play. So they're getting good targets. It's just fantastic go forward. And now they're threatening yet again inside of the end goal. Chargers doing well to hold up the ball here. A little bit of a maul situation. And now it looks like it has been knocked on by Pulaski. We're going to have a minute on the field just for a quick injury check.
It was Dylan Hendricks that was the player that was down, and in fact we've got a Charger down on the far side of the field. Not able to spot his number, but he's being tended to by coaching and training staff. Big thanks to Athletico Physical Therapy. They're providing the athletic trainers for today's tournament. We really appreciate having them here to keep the athletes healthy.
And that is something that's of high importance when it comes to the sport of rugby. A lot of the laws designed with an impact on player safety. When we are at these lower levels of competition, even when we're at the club national championships, which are happening today for USA Rugby, players, if they're even suspected of a concussion, have to come off the field. In international play, you can do an assessment and players can come back on, but that is nowhere else. That's not at any of these lower levels at all. We're not going to gamble with player safety. They want to make sure that the players are being tended to and that they go through the proper protocols. So what we did when I coached with Kettle Moraine, with the high school girls here in Wisconsin, we followed the same protocol as other sports do. We looked at temperatures, when we were allowed to be outside or not. We looked at return to play with concussions, so that way you go through a progression of a minimum of 2 weeks off. You have to be able to jog, you have to be able to then be a sprint, and then you have to progress to the next level, clearance from doctors, clearance from trainers, just making sure that these young athletes become old athletes, and then they can play here with the Wisconsin Rugby Club someday. They even have an old boys team.
And it's become a big issue. I think football has highlighted it most acutely with the issue of CTE and things like that. But any sport where you're going to have contact is a sport where you're at risk for concussion and where you don't want to take any chances. So it's great to see USA Rugby treating that seriously. Being helped off the field is number 15 for the Chargers. We'll see if we can't get you a report on him a little bit later.
So Sam Strage coming off the field. We'll look to see who the Chargers bring back on. This is a situation now where their shorter roster could make a major impact. Again, trailing 36-0, but they've got just 20 players. If they have a couple of players out with injuries, a couple little niggles, they're going to be reduced to what they're capable of doing on the field further.
Yep, let's head back into the scrum here. We are just outside the 5-meter line, and it's picked up, but we have a quick whistle. A little frustrated was Conrad Hillesheim, thought he had a route to the goal, but we will set up the scrum and do it again.
Well, it's easy when there's not an actual scrum. When the ball comes straight out the tunnel, you've got some free space to run into. So we're going to have the scrum reset. And this is still going to be the Chargers put in.
This time the ball does come free. It's Vanderloop sending it back, but another whistle once more.
Chargers set up steep on their offense right now, so this would be a time where we're going to anticipate that they're going to try to carry the ball out of their own end goal. So we see the first receiver fly half set up just on the goal line. He's pretty steep back from the scrum too. That's going to be a longer pass. Hopefully they're able to get it out cleanly. But because they're set up so steep, we're looking at that run rather than a kick scenario.
As we continue to battle here, fighting to try and get this ball, and it's taken by the Chargers coming out of their own end. Chargers pushing across that 5-meter line. A nice little run, shoves a Pulaski man down and battles forward. Chargers using their physicality there to pick up some positive gains. Driving forward and right into Hendricks, who Hendricks combines with Trevor Eiler. That ball comes free, but we've got a signal from the ref.
So it's going to be a penalty to the Chargers. I would just love to see them put a little bit of a move on before they take contact. If it's a little bit of a step, a little bit of a fake pass, something that just targets the shoulder to the outside rather than running straight into this Pulaski defense.
What a hit by Hendricks there to force the turnover, and it's Pulaski in deep once more. A great breakup, got a hand in on it.
Sam Can's doing well on defense, causes the knock-on. We're going to see another scrum to the Chargers. So we'll see if they can run it out yet again. Would love to see what they can do if they can just break free. But in order to do so, they have got to avoid this Pulaski defense. I mean, is this the Minnesota Vikings we're watching? Are these the purple people eaters here? I know we're in Green Bay territory, but still, it's been an impressive showing for this Pulaski defense so far. I think the Chargers just need to be able to get that last step, that last break, a little bit of a stiff arm, a little bit of a shimmy. There's something that they can do to create more space when it comes to their attack.
Time is growing short for the Chargers here. 38 minutes showing on the clock. We'll play to 60 once we get a dead ball after that. 36-0 in favor of the Pulaski Roos.
Another substitute coming on for the Chargers team. We see one of the flankers being replaced. Looks like that might have been number 20, Aaron Zamora, coming in. So we see the put by number 9, Levi Poss.
This one does come back to the Chargers. They're able to take possession in their own end. Send it out to the far side, and the ball is dropped loose, and it's Hendricks picking it up once more for Pulaski.
So advantage being shown to the Pulaski team. Looked like the ball may have been knocked forward by that Charger team. Pulaski with the ball in hand, they have a little bit of a chance to play on and see if they can create something better than they would off of an attacking platform with the scrum. Now going through a few phases.
Pulaski still fighting for it as we go into the ruck here, try and dig this one out. They'll give it to Hillesheim.
So we see the Chargers defense launching forward, coming forward, but their hips are turned to the inside. They're turned to where the ball is coming from. This means that Pulaski will have open space to the outside of the field if they're just able to get quick hands to the outside. Pulaski's hands starting to fail them just like a little bit in the early first half of this game. They were able to recover once they got their breaks and everything too. But right now they do need to keep a clean, tight game. While it's a pretty safe and a pretty comfortable lead, 36-0, there are scouts here from the select side team. There are a lot of college coaches that are here watching. We are in a situation right now with USA Rugby where there are college scholarships. There are teams like Lindenwood Belleville, like AIC, Central Washington, Cal Berkeley, Life, Lindenwood, that's in St. Charles, Missouri as well, Bethel College in Indiana. They are all offering money for rugby players, and some of them are getting fantastic opportunities as well to play for the All-American team, to tour around the world. So there's still all to play for here.
Had a pair of turnovers there, went to the Chargers, back to Pulaski, back to the Chargers, and now off the penalty, it will be the Chargers' ball. 40 minutes, 10 seconds gone in this game. 36-0 the lead for the Pulaski Roos over the Chargers in this D1 Wisconsin State Championship. They'll kick it into touch. We will take the line out here just outside of the 22-meter line of the Chargers.
It's gaining about 10 meters of space downfield. It is going to be a Chargers throw. They've gone short with all their setups before with just a 4-man line out. We'll see if they replicate the same. Looking to keep some of their extra forward players in the back line, see if they can insert them there. You'll often see them line up behind the behind the inside center. So we've got an option to the in or to the out. We see them lining up, one behind the fly half, one behind the center, and one behind the outside center as well. But first they've got to get clean ball out. So the ball comes down. We're in a maul situation here, and it is Pulaski that is driving forward. So we see that same leg drive that they've had in the contact situation, getting them extra yards. Doing the same here. Chargers still maintaining possession of the ball, running straight into another Pulaski wall.
Pulaski has been an absolute wall. The term you used is spot on defense. They are just not letting the Chargers get anything going. But for the one breakaway that we saw, it's really been all Pulaski. Now the Chargers go for a punt. It gets caught up in the wind a little bit, taken nicely by Pulaski.
That was a nice chip downfield. If you're going to kick and you know that you're going to give the ball to Pulaski, that they've got some time, the fly half from the Chargers at least put it high enough in the air that it either gave his teammates a chance to get the ball or to make that tackle. Good coverage. Now Pulaski going forward, but they bought themselves some extra room between this Pulaski attack and the goal line.
Szymanski pushing forward, but we get a whistle here. Ref checking on Szymanski, and we're going to send it back a little bit. One thing in this game, in contrast to the D3 game, we haven't seen a single yellow card yet, whereas we had, I want to say, 6 and a red card in the D3 game. A lot more clean play.
The discipline levels here and the skill, the experience here when it comes to the D1 level is quite high. Wisconsin Rugby set up in a way that any team that wants to be a D1 team cannot be denied that space unless they're a first-year team. Other teams get promoted and relegated based on their performance for the year before. But if there are teams that feel that they can compete at this level, they're going to be given that opportunity as long as they've been around for more than a year. No more than 8 teams can ever be in D1, or I should say until they grow to 50, 100 teams or so. And then they seed the D2 and the D3 below that. This year, D2 and D3 played a merged competition and then separated just for the playoffs. So throughout the D1 competition, every team played each other in a round robin. A team like Pulaski with 11 wins and 1 tie has got extra opportunity playing at the Midwest Championships. They were the Tier 2 champions. That will move them up, or it should move them up to Tier 1 for the next year against schools like Cathedral and Penn out of Indiana that have been solid programs. And I think like their play today, they're showing that they deserve to be at that level.
Now, what a move by Pulaski here, taking a run as Carson Birch across the 22-meter line and into the red zone on a great little throw from Dylan Hendricks. And that's going to be a knock-on against Pulaski. Boy, that was a great move by Birch, but unfortunately it goes for naught.
So knock-ons can happen on the ground as well. That's why we really try to teach players that they should be stepping over the ball and then scooping to pick it up backwards, because that little knock forward, again, in a tighter game can make the difference. They'd be turning over the ball or potentially turning over the ball inside of their own try-scoring opportunities in this red zone area. We're going to look to see what the Chargers do for their exit plan. They're again set up as if they were going to run. We even see their fullback playing all the way back as if he was going to insert somewhere.
And now the Chargers do have it, running out of time here. 43-36 showing on the clock. It's a 36-0 lead for Pulaski. The Chargers have kept them off the board here in the second half, but all the damage done in the first half still weighing heavily on this game. Pulaski gets the turnover. They take it once again to fight their way through, trying to drag all the way to that 5-meter line. Want to big that ball out of the ruck and get it moving forward once more. Again, just power rugby here, driving, pressing, getting in.
Pulaski's got the numbers to the right side of the field right now. They've got so many purple jerseys. They're not going to need it, though, as it is the replacement player, Fahey, that goes across the line. They're going to break the 40-point barrier, going up 41-0, pending the conversion attempt. They're able to go forward, keep that leg drive, and they had the threat of those players to the outside that had to keep the Charger defense honest. They couldn't all stack towards the middle. Otherwise, Pulaski had the opportunity where they could just pass it through the hands.
Liam Fahey with just... And it's what we've seen from Pulaski on both ends, right? We have seen Liam Fahey doing it with the speed. We've seen Dylan Hendricks and Preston Olt doing it. We see Liam Fahey doing it with the power. And they're able to play both ways, get the scores. It will be Dylan Hendricks to take this conversion attempt as we cross the 45-minute mark here. Less than 15 minutes to play, with a 41 and potentially 43-point lead for Pulaski.
That's one of the things when you have a team like Pulaski that has such depth, when they've got 20 years worth of experience with their coaching staff having been here for all 20 years as well. When you have a team that is full of talent and full of veteran players, it's a team that has a lot of support. They've also mentioned their role in the community too, working with Adopt a Family for Christmas, with Rebuilding Together, doing the Polar Plunge for Special Olympics, donating to Humane Society. This is a team that, again, has been in the state semifinals 16 out of their 20 years. They've made the finals 7 times, state champions in 2009, 2010, 2014, 2015, and I think that we're okay in adding 2018 to that total. We have just 15 minutes left to play. It'd be a tall task to ask the Chargers to come back and score at least 43 points.
It would be the miracle in Madison if they could make that comeback. Fahey, the man who scored the try, he picks up this initial kickoff and will hold it for Pulaski, trying to work it back. That ruck getting violent here, and it's the Chargers that try and take it away. But we have too many men against Pulaski, 16 players on the field.
So we're going to get a quick conference here just to confirm which player needs to go off and where some of the substitutions went down. We not only our center referee and Andrew Prochniak, assistant referees on each sideline, we also have a number 4. So that number 4 referee is the one who's managing substitutions, who's managing and keeping track of yellow cards, keeping track of time. So they're kind of like the admin referee. Dave Hendricks doing the job for the day. So now it is a penalty to the Chargers at midfield. And right now they don't have to wait for Pulaski. I would go quick and I would come to this left side of the field. It's left uncovered.
We only see one man on the left half of the field. The Chargers forced to cut back towards the right, brought down there, but they retain possession with 46-48 on the clock. Looking to push their way through, nothing doing there. Again, the defense of Pulaski remains stiff. Work near side now, and they've got a bit of open space, a nice run, and once again, it's number 12, Xavier Ellis.
So Ellis has had the 2 great breaks for this Charger team. We saw the shooting attempt by Pulaski when we're on the field. We'll actually say shooter as well. That means someone's shooting up in defense. That you have the opportunity, if you can just hold that ball, and if you have a little fake or a little step, and that guy is over pursuing in defense, you're going to have space open, and that's exactly what it did. It's risky. A lot of times people are looking to pick off that pass. In that case, it opened up the gap. Now the Chargers on attack, and they get inside of the Pulaski 22.
An outstanding inside move from Connor Boynton. They are into the red zone here. The first real threat from the Chargers that we've seen in this game. They go for the kick forward. It's going to make it into the goal. Flying up on it is Dylan Hoffman, but it will be taken by Pulaski.
So this is going to be another 22-meter dropout. So again, just has to be a drop kick from behind the 22. There it goes.
Spinning along the ground, and that's one taken by the Chargers. What a hit from Vanderloop, driving him back across midfield. Ian Vanderloop with a great tackle. Coming out of it, though, are the Chargers. That great throw there, and they've got a chance to come back.
I just want to put a little shout out there to the Chargers, number 10, Dylan Hoffman, helping Vanderloop off the ground, even though his team was on attack. Gentleman's sport. Well done, Chargers.
Fair play it never goes unrewarded. It's always been my thought. The Chargers continue to control possession. Back to Connor Boynton. Boynton, one of the biggest men on this field, drives his way forward and continues to gain ground for the Chargers. Looking for a pass was Dylan Hoffman. Nothing there, and he's brought down with 48-30 on the clock a 43-0 lead for the Pulaski Roos here in the D1 State Championship in Wisconsin.
We see a couple of phases of play strung together finally by this Chargers team. A couple more substitutes on number 16, Jake Hesh, and number 17, Josh Allen. We have a penalty to the Chargers team, so Pulaski needs to keep their discipline. Again, just showing that they're going to be good rugby players. Can't keep giving away these penalties. They're going to give the Chargers some opportunities.
And that was a hit away from the ball. After Dylan Hoffman had kicked it away, he was brought down by Hillesheim. And so the Chargers getting in deep here with an opportunity late in the second half.
It looks like they're going to set up a play. They could have gone to touch and taken a line out closer downfield, but they're going to see if they can break it open in the midfield instead. We'd love to see them do a quick recycle of the ball and get it out to the right. They've got some numbers out there. Pulaski able to realign, and now a little hole has opened. So it's actually a good cut back to the middle.
Hoffman fighting his way through, picking up some more ground. They give it back to Boynton. Boynton pushed back initially, but he fights hard, throws one man with an arm and keeps going.
I really want the Chargers to look at the opportunity to come left right now. All of the Pulaski players have their hips turned towards, well, it's the far side of the field. I would love them to come to the near side of the field. The Chargers could take advantage of some of this like ball watching right now.
Connor Boynton trying to drive through it. It's loose and it's taken by Dylan Hendricks. Hendricks past one man at the 22-meter line, still on his feet. Flips to the outside and coming up the left wing is one of the substitutes for Pulaski. He is brought down, but they retain possession and they continue to move it up that far edge. We're inside of 10 minutes to play.
They've got this near side of the field all to their own. We see the number 18 for the Chargers, and now finally the wing getting out to the outside, but there's still 30 meters of space outside of this last number 13. If Pulaski can just get the ball in hand, this is a great break downfield.
Want to run, here's Hillesheim. Hillesheim flipping it out. That one goes down.
That's the rugby equivalent of the Hail Mary. That was careless. I'm sorry. He had the numbers. All he needed was a nice pass to the outside. He drew in his defenders. They're setting up basic 2-on-1s. We're looking at like different triangles of play. That wasn't necessary.
Hockey, we call that a hope pass. Just hoping that someone will come and grab that. Unfortunately for him, nobody does. And so we will get the scrum at the 22-meter line. Another great push from Pulaski as they have dominated this game. Just over 9 minutes to play in the half. Pulaski in position to win the D1 State Championship, up 43-0 over the Chargers as we get ready for the scrum.
Another substitute here on the field coming on for Pulaski. As soon as he turns around, look at the jersey number. Well, the young man wearing number 13, Andrew Kane. So just realigning as one of the wings may have come off and another substitute coming on. But again, when we look at metrics with rugby too, we can look at like plus minuses for turnover, but we can also look at plus minuses for what a player has done. Yes, he may have scored 2 tries and had brilliant runs, but if he's turned over the ball 4 times, or if he's given the other team X amount of tries, then it's like, okay, you might be in the negative for your actual performance of the game when you're really grading out the fine things. Again, this is a team that's up 43-0. They have the speed, they're breaking downfield. But if we're looking at all the little things, you're paying attention to it. Because that's what we would do in football, in soccer, in baseball, in every other sport.
No, in any sport, you have to look at the complete player. It's not just points scored or whatever metric you want to use. It's the whole game, and are you surrendering those opportunities to your opponents that they're converting on and negating the offensive effort that you're making on the other side of the field. A little bit of discussion here with the referee as we want to get this scrum set.
Well, a couple more substitutes coming on and off the field, too. I think just making sure that they've used the right amount of substitutes as well. You are limited in a game, so you have a 23-man roster. There are scenarios if there was, an injury with blood and it's able to be stopped, you can bring someone back on. If you go through all your subs and then someone gets hurt in the front row, meaning the props or hookers in the scrum, then you can bring a front row substitute back onto the field. But this isn't like little kids soccer where you're allowed freewheeling substitutes. Once you're off, you're generally off for the game. So they just want to make sure, okay, what interchanges do we have? Is everything set? That's the rule of that number 4 on the far sideline.
Yep, yeah, more akin to baseball in that regard. You come out and you're done. But with 52:38 showing on the clock, we will set this scrum one more time. Pulaski up 43-0 here in the D1 Boys State Championship.
Paying attention to this Pulaski number 13, the wing on the near side of the field too. Sometimes you can just tell if they're going to do a weak side play by the way they'll set up. So we talk about like a front foot being forward. Are their hands up? Is their body tensed? If their hands are down and they're kind of just like lackadaisical about it, it's generally not going their way. But teams will have scripted plays off of these scrums, whether it's going to be an 8-man pick. Sometimes you have an 8 pop to a 9. Sometimes you see weak side attacks. Right now, Pulaski has their other wing set up really far to the other side. They have a fullback really far back, and it's going to be all the Pulaski.
Hillesheim to the end and the score. Hillesheim comes out with it and just races to the corner of the end goal, touches it down. It is 48-0 Pulaski with a chance to make it an even 50 on the conversion here at 53:30 to go. 53:30 on the clock, excuse me, in the game.
He had to make up for that try that wasn't scored earlier, so he does it all himself. It's good awareness, though. We saw the penalty in the scrum area. The quick tap means that we have 8 forwards that are still in a scrum. It means that we have a Chargers team that was set up for a certain attack having to transition to defense. So the space is there, the timing is there. He's on the front foot, he's going forward, and he knows what he's doing.
He's playing great. That's his second try of the game. Casey Lambert, the junior, now to take this kick. Dylan Hendricks had attempted all the previous conversions. We will have Casey Lambert try this one to make it an even 50 as we cross the 54-minute line. The Chargers, they've come here and they have tried, but they are just outclassed by this Pulaski team. Much as they have put in the effort, Pulaski showing us that they can do it on both sides.
It really is a masterful performance by this Pulaski team. Getting that extra competition at the Midwest level has certainly helped them. Whatever adjustments they made from when they tied earlier in the season have certainly paid off. Full credit to their coaching staff. Of course, these players buying in, all their parents and fans and families supporting them. But Fran Burnett, Cole Koopman doing a fantastic job with these young men, quite a few of them moving on to college when they're all done. We see players going on to UW Stout, St. Norbert's, players enlisting in the Air Force, the Marines, and then NWTC as well. These players that are going on to the military as well will have opportunities to continue playing rugby. There's actually an All-Armed Forces Sevens tournament that takes place in Rugby Town, Glendale, Colorado, every single summer. So we see all 5 branches of the armed forces competing against one another. You'll have teams play 15s as well, so they can play representative rugby for their respective military branches. Some of them even getting world-class athlete contracts, so they get paid to play a sport. Mostly you see that with Army sports. But quite a few young men on our USA Sevens team coming from that Army program, notably Cody Melfi, Pat Blair. When Eric Duchel was in the Air Force, he was a world-class athlete participant as well. There are 3 young women on the women's side, so plenty of opportunities to continue playing rugby and to get paid to do so.
And to my mind, the more diversity we can have in the sports that are on offer to people, whether they're college, military, whether they're fans of sport, you know, getting it on TV, that's great. And it's great to see rugby developing here in the United States. The Chargers working it. They're into the red zone as they push forward, trying to get a last-minute push here as we are into the 56th minute of this game. Chargers again in the red zone. Feed it over to Connor Boynton. Boynton pushing. Boynton driving against Hendricks, taking a back step and going down. Referee calling for a tackle, and we get that ruck out.
What's an important designation, too? As soon as a knee gets down, if someone is held up, if the knee gets down, it becomes a ruck. Something that becomes a tackle has differentiations of which player has rights to the ball.
And just in there, it's a try. Hustling in is Xavier Ellis, scooting through a little gap and getting into the end goal. And, the Chargers get off the schneid here. They get 5 points. They've got a chance for 7 with 56-31 on the board.
So it is Xavier Ellis putting his hand up in the battle of the inside centers. Both of the young men from the respective teams really showing their star power as the day has gone on. Xavier Ellis with 3 key line breaks, and of course Dylan Hendricks making an impact for the Pulaski team.
And you can see the run there, an outstanding job on the replay. 25 from Pulaski, trying to drag him down from behind, nothing doing. Ellis, fighting to get the score. The conversion attempt on the way will be taken by number 9, Len Poss. Try and make it a 7-point game here. Poss's kick is no good, short and to the left. So it will remain a 48-5 Pulaski lead with 57-20 showing on the clock.
So this time it'll be Pulaski kicking off to the Chargers team. Look to see if they can get another break into the Pulaski side of the field.
This is the first time we've seen Pulaski kick off today, an unusual position for them. First time we've seen them kick off a score, I should say.
There you go.
As the Chargers finally get on the board. Big cheer from these fans as we head into the last 2 minutes. It will be Dylan Hendricks for the kick, the drop, and the shot is on the way.
Coming off for Pulaski was their number 6, Trevor Eiler, number 7, Casey Lambert, and of course number 24, Fahey as well. Cameron
Bell with a nice run, but he turns it over. What a stick from the Chargers. Matt Bayona, number 8, with just a huge hit. The Roos, though, hang on to the ball near the 10-meter line. Everyone battling through, and again, it's Pulaski that controls.
So we see a little bit of show and go from the Pulaski number 9, Ian Vanderloop. faking the pass, carrying going forward, and now we see an opportunity for Pulaski. They've got numbers to the right side of the field. It looks like they're set up though for a little bit of settle-in forward style play. We don't see them set up as steeply as they were either like earlier in the game. We're not going to see them running as much. They're just kind of controlling the pace now, controlling the ball. Just a minute and 20 seconds left to go. They can put together 40, 50 phases, and that's actually what Wisconsin Rugby Club did a couple years ago when they made it to the national championship game. They went through, I believe, 48 phases of play to actually steal a win at the end, came from behind, but they just had to maintain possession and got it inch by inch. So right now we're just battle with the clock in this final minute of play. A fantastic showing for this Pulaski team.
59 minutes exactly on the clock. The Roos pushing forward once more. As you said, playing possession rugby at this point, just looking to close thing out. They have a 48-5 lead over the Chargers here in the D1 State Championship. Referee calls for a play on, and we continue here. The Roos retain possession, and we'll go to another ruck. Trying to get by it, a big defensive wall from the Chargers does not allow them through. Move it back into the middle and nothing doing there. Again, big stop from Connor Boynton. Not going to allow the purple jerseyed opponents to get by, but they will hang on to it. Hendricks moving it across. Nice carry there from the Roos. Nearly stripped loose, but it looks like they managed to hang on. They will retain possession.
If anything, this is almost the anti-2-minute drill. Like, they don't need to hurry up. We don't see Peyton Manning going, rolling his arm going forward. Instead, this is just, okay, eat up the clock, finish up time. You still have to play it out.
But we are just about done. We've crossed the 60-minute mark. At the next dead ball, we will be finished. It is 48-5 in favor of Pulaski. They will be your Wisconsin D1 state champs. A last run here coming from the Chargers, looking to make an effort, pushing his way forward is Mason Miller. Miller now handing it back, and the Chargers looking to get one last score to finish out this state championship game. Boynton taken down there, not allowed to get any room forward, but the Chargers hang on to the ball into the middle of the field. Oh, and this one picked off, and an open run coming for Pulaski. Gets his way through, is taken down, a nice tackle by the Chargers. And that's going to be the whistle. We've got a penalty.
Yes, a penalty not releasing on the Chargers. It was a perfectly read defensive pick. Not quite a pick 5, but gets his way downfield. Now, the game can't end on a penalty, but he can tap the ball first, kick to touch. Now the game is over by tapping the ball before he kicks it out of bounds. Pulaski has sealed it, winning 48-5 over the Chargers. They scored in the opening minute, and they just didn't let up. Pulaski showing their depth. It's a team that doesn't cut any players. They run two sides. It was initially the Roos. They added a second team. Great local community support. This is a team that showed so well on the field today, so versatile. Ball in hand, anybody could score. Anybody did. Almost everybody did.
We've got a ton of Roos supporters here in the stands supporting their team. Again, Pulaski has won the D1 Boys State Championship 48-5 over the Chargers. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the presentation of the awards. You're watching Wisconsin State Rugby on OCA Media.
OCA Media Sports would like to thank our generous sponsors for helping make this programming possible. Oregon and Waunakee Community Banks, your locally owned full-service bank, offering locally serviced, commercial, and residential loans. Feel good banking. Becker Law Office. At Becker Law Office, Social Security disability appeals are all we do. Call us today for a free consultation. Sunbelt Rentals. Have a large job or weekend project? Turn to Sunbelt Rentals for all your equipment needs. LaRue Construction, your #1 choice for remodeling, additions, and new home construction. Do it right the first time. Choose LaRue Construction. Taking pride in what we do. Clover Products, designing and manufacturing long-range microphones here in Wisconsin since 2012, with uses ranging from NFL sidelines to law enforcement to wedding videos. The Wisconsin Rugby Referee Society, promoting and growing the sport of rugby union football at all ages. Madison United Rugby, supporting and developing athletes for national and international amateur rugby competition. Madison United Rugby coordinates and supports its member rugby clubs.
Back, everyone, to the Wisconsin Rugby Complex here in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. My name is Zach Seeloff. Thanks so much for joining us here on OCA Media's coverage of the Wisconsin State Boys Rugby Championship. The D1 game has concluded, and the Pulaski Roos in purple on the right side of your screen have defeated the Chargers in white on the left, 48-5 to take home the D1 championship. Let's go down to the PA.
Chargers, you played like it was a tie game the whole time. So much heart and hustle the whole time. Congratulations on a well-played game. Awesome job to both of you guys. You put on a great show. Fans did a great job showing up here today on a beautiful day, and I think you saw a good game of rugby despite the score. So nice job. Chargers, state runner-up. Congratulations.
All right. Captain Mason Miller. JT Paczynski. Sam Strigg. Sam Cans. Dylan Hoffman. Cameron Bell. Matt Bayona. Trevor Butine. Bailey Federer. Justin Orton. Jay Kosh. Matt Mikolajczyk. Chase Lombardi. Xavier Ellis. Isaiah Servant. Aaron Zamora. Antonio Flowers. Josh Allen. Connor Bear. Levi Post. And Coach Kurt.
Thank you, Brian Allen, for handing those out, coach of Madison Exiles. To hand out the medals here is Matt Peterson, coach of UW Whitewater National Champions. There you go.
Captain Conrad Hillesheim. Dylan Hendricks. Ian Vanderloop. Casey Lambert. Mitch Malesva. Trevor Eiler. Andrew Kane. Max Lindsley. Zach Moronic. Carson Birch. Logan Lam. JJ Shemansky. Preston Olt. Mason Rasmussen. Liam Fahy. Brendan Willett. Ray Nick. Max Steinbrecker. Josh LaValle. Nate Apps. Travis Eiler. Caleb Shimmick. Peyton Grimm. Caston Bedora. Eli Thiem. Devlin Noyen. Big John Bersinski. Stephen Omer. Louis Neese. And Logan Noyen. Coaches Pudgy Bunny, Dakota, Fran.
Fran, I think you got room for one more Pulaski on here. Congratulations. State champions.
State Boys Championship in rugby. They defeat the Chargers 48-5 in a game that they dominated from beginning to end. Great play to them. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with an interview with some of those Roos. Stay tuned. You're watching OCA Media's coverage of the Wisconsin State Rugby Tournament.
At Oregon Community Bank, our purpose for over 38 years has been to serve our customers. Our goal is to help them improve their financial lives with innovative banking products and services, coupled with unparalleled customer service. Doing banking the right way, bringing our skills and expertise to improve the financial stability to individuals and businesses is how we have grown. We call this feel-good banking. So give us a call. Drop into one of our convenient branches or connect online at OregonCommunityBank.com. Feel good about banking again.
There's no cost for imagination, no charge for dreams, no limit to what we can accomplish together. It takes grit, determination, but mostly it takes you. They are your ideas, your visions. We're here to help. Early mornings, late nights, heavy loads. We are real people turning extraordinary dreams into reality. Sunbelt Rentals. Your ideas, our equipment.
Your Social Security disability benefits have been denied.
You're upset, and maybe you're scared.
You need to appeal and get those monthly checks, but you've never done anything like this before.
It might be your first time, but not ours.
The Becker Law Office has helped over 10,000 people in Wisconsin appeal for disability benefits.
Disability law is all we do.
Call 1-800-254-7766, the Becker Law Office.
Welcome back, everyone. We've got Conrad Hillesheim and Dylan Hendricks on the field with our very own Liz Entwistle. Conrad had 2 tries, and Dylan had 3 in this game. Dylan also kicking a number of conversion attempts. Let's head down to them now for the interview.
Hi, I'm Liz Entwistle with OCA Media. I'm here with Dylan Hendricks and Conrad Hillesheim from your state champion, Pulaski Roos. Gentlemen, congratulations on your performance today. I know your teams had met earlier in the season. That was a 24-all tie. What adjustments and what differences did you make in order to come to the state championship with such a definitive win today?
Just getting more experience and playing time through the season really helped us out. Conrad, what you got?
Yeah, I think throughout the season we really bonded as a team, playing multiple games, going down to the Midwest, a couple different tournaments, definitely helped us out a lot. Bond.
So I noticed at the Midwest tournament you guys actually won the Tier 2 competition. Was that a first for your team to actually step up to another level of competition, play outside the state?
We go to that tournament every year, and it really helps out our new guys, get some great experience, and prepare for hopefully the state championship. So.
And what are your plans? How are you going to be celebrating later today?
Lots of fun.
Soda.
All right, well, thank you, gentlemen. You played a fantastic game. I have to say I was super impressed with the way that Pulaski was so quick with transitions and how you were able to realign. It was almost a 7-style game out there with first receivers, second receivers, rather than set fly half. I saw you playing scrum half of the day today. And then was it Max, your number 4, inserting into the back line all day long. Is a comprehensive effort. Well done, gentlemen, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thanks Liz for the great interview. Thanks to both Dylan Hendricks and Conrad Hillesheim for having a chance to talk to us. Again, if you're just joining us, Pulaski is your D1 state champ in rugby. They defeat the Chargers 48-5. We've got one more game for you today. It'll be the D2 game featuring Middleton and Green Bay. Stay tuned. We're going to step away and we will be back with that. You're watching OCA Media's coverage of the Wisconsin State Rugby Championships.
This is a presentation of OCA Media Sports.